SharkyBreath.
He plays video games.
Hi there. Welcome back to Disco Elysium. We're probably looking at a relatively short episode today because I just had the latest pandemic vaccine and it's messing me up. But that sort of suits my accidental MO of always playing this game when I'm under various states of... how do I even describe it? Whether it's sleep deprivation or under the weather one way or another. It seems to keep happening, so I guess it's just as well. Anyway, I got a bunch of people I need to talk to at this point. One of them is the Hardy boys, Titus Hardy, but I'm not ready for that just yet. I don't feel ready for that. So I'm going to go talk to the cryptozoologist and let him know that Kuno promised to stop doing the thing. It seems like a place to start, you know? You know? Hi, I'm back. You're the one who probably wants to know about the most, right? Yeah, probably.
Hello, officer.
Hi, Morel.
I think I almost have it. A new trap design, that is.
Uh-huh.
I know you're skeptical, but I have a good feeling about this.
I see. Okay, cool. Wasn't it your wife who designed the last trap? I mean, that's not saying that you can't design a trap, but, like, I feel like that was a thing. I had a chat with this kid, Kuno. He promised to stop stealing the locusts, and it looks like he stole a lot of them. Did you know Gary was hiding the armor? Seems weird to even bring it up. Probably, you know... Well, I guess I've already had most of the conversations I need to have with Morel, so I guess, let's just ask him.
Hell no. I had no idea. And I'm still cross with him, to be honest. It's not like him. He's got his quirks, but dishonesty, disloyalty are not one of them.
Okay. Disloyalty? Disloyalty.
I don't know what got into him, officer. Thank you for letting him off easy. He won't forget it. We'll make sure he won't.
Oh yeah, no sweat. Anyway, I talked to Kuno. He promised to stop stealing the locusts.
So it was just a child.
He purses his lips, crestfallen. Yeah, I suppose that's really not good news.
Thank you for telling us, sweetie. This is good news, right? It means we can try again.
She turns to smile gently up at her husband. I mean, it does, but it also means that the one lead he thought he had wasn't a lead at all. Well, you know, so it goes. Continue.
She acts chipper, but something's changed in her tone. A hidden worry.
A hidden worry that you're not going to ever find it? Continue.
Something is secretly gnawing at her confidence. It's not this Kuno kid, or the missing locusts. It's something else.
Something else. Continue.
Yeah, you're right. We just need to restock the empty trap. Then we'll need to inspect the traps one more time. And then maybe we can.
We can what? Oh boy. The aging cryptozoologist breaks into a hideous coughing fit. Well, that's not a good sign. You did spend a lot of time out in the rain the other day. Are you all right?
He has a 38-degree fever. His resilience has given way.
How on earth can I tell that he has a 38-degree fever? Wow, continue.
Darling, I told you to take it easy. You're getting sick. Maybe it's time to go home.
She looks at him with tender concern. Continue.
You're right. We can come back next season when it's warmer.
He breathes carefully, not to start coughing again. Man, I'm really feeling this is costing me time on my main investigation. Don't bring that up right now. It's not worth risking your health. You should call it a day and go home. Refuse. I'd offer to help, but I have my own things to do. Refuse. Damn it, maybe I can still restock the trap for you? Accept. We've come too far to quit. I'm going to restock the trap. Let's do this and accept enthusiastically. I mean, it's a relatively trivial thing for me to do. Kim will probably not appreciate it too much, but like, it's not that much out of our way, right? And running around doesn't take any time at all in this game. But I'm guessing Kim will be upset, but I'm still going to do it. Let's do this!
We are getting really carried away with this, aren't we? Fine, it's better than having these people get pneumonia on the coast. But after this...
He makes a show of suppressing a sigh. Yeah, I figured. Continue.
He wants to see this tale through, as much as you. Otherwise, he'd have stopped this already. But he cannot let it drag out after this.
It would be irresponsible to do so, I get you. And I'm the irresponsible one around here. Continue.
Really? It's too much, officer.
He starts coughing again. New task, find the Insulindian phasmid. I mean, okay, continue.
What Morel means is we're grateful for your help.
She nods to her husband. Continue.
Here's a fresh batch of locusts. They should slide right down the funnel. And thank you again. We will definitely mention you, should this lead to a discovery. I'm not talking co-discovery, of course, but...
Well, naturally, unless I'm the one that finds it, in which case we'll have to discuss things. Continue.
Wow. Co-discovery. You'd be famous. You'd show them all. This does tingle the pleasure center.
It was an easy electrochemistry check, and I barely succeeded. It's almost like I don't put much time or effort into electrochemistry. All right, I'll get going. Great. Wonderful. So I've got a box of locusts. Let's have a look at it. Items. There it is. A cardboard box with several rows of little holes in the lid. Though at first glance the box seems perfectly ordinary, upon closer examination, it's obvious that it has been prepared with great care. It's also worth 1 Real 28. I'm not sure why you would just sell Morel's locusts unless you were just really being a jerk about all this, but I don't intend to do that. Find the Insulindian phasmid. You volunteered to restock the empty trap for the cryptozoologist. They even gave you a fresh box of locusts. This could, after some messing around, probably lead to the discovery. First restock the trap you left empty before. The trick is to remember which one it was. Oh. Huh. That's a good question. I think I know. I thought it was the one furthest down the coast, right? Or was it the one that was closest to the water lock? I don't remember offhand. Okay, cool. Well, I need to talk to Joyce. First things first, I need to talk to Joyce. Kim's probably not too pleased with me for making that particular agreement, so let's go talk to Joyce and see if that smooths things over a little bit. Also, I should get my ledger. Okay. Not that. There we go. Off we go. I suppose while I'm down there, I could try and borrow a paintbrush from Cindy. Hadn't really thought about it. This isn't one of my fast travel destinations, is it? I do actually have to walk down here? I feel like I do. Wow. Was that always all the way down here like this? I'm not sure. What's this? Is this a thing I need to pry open? Is that what that is? Let's have a look. If I were to equip this, does that make any difference? Signal blue naval coat. +1 suggestion, which is kind of nice. -1 half-light. Okay, that's fine. Give it to me. Let's have a look at this thing. There we go. +1 suggestion. Aye, Captain. -1 half-light. Officerial poise. Officerial poise? For some reason, I can't read that. This classic double-breasted coat suits everyone, including you. And if you ever find yourself battling winds at the helm of a ship, then the coat's heavy fabric has your back, even if moths have left a few holes in it. That's all right. Let's have a look at it. It looks like pretty impressive. Whoa! Look at that! So stylish. But, for right now, esprit de corps. I like esprit de corps. I like getting along with Kim is the thing about it. All right. Joyce, we did the thing. You really have just been hanging out here in the rain for days, huh? Well, hi, how are you?
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Not an umbrella, I hope. I don't need one myself, you see.
She pats her wet raincoat. Also, she looks at the ripples on the water's surface. You have a raincoat, but you don't have the hood up. Is that not bad for your hair? It seems like you've put some time and effort into how it appears, but, well, what do I know about it? I'm sure she's fine. Continue!
All around you, rain keeps falling down. On the wooden boards she's standing on, and on the water around you.
It's true. I could use a coat like that. The rain is freezing. No need. Tell me something. I mean, I do have a raincoat, but it doesn't cover my head. Well, let's at least bring it up, see what happens. The rain is freezing.
Sadly, I need this one myself. It's hydrophobic, repels water, almost magically.
Neat.
The company makes them for offshore platform personnel. Very sturdy.
And you don't have a spare or something? Continue.
What I can do for you is answer some questions. Nothing like talking to pass a rainy day.
She gives the material another pat. Okay, so I spoke with the lorryman at the roundabout. That one.
Yes, my eyes on the harbor have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered?
Wait, where exactly are these eyes located? We have to discovered enough to conclude for now. Okay, well, first let's ask about the eyes, yeah?
It doesn't really matter. And I do apologize for the surveillance.
You do not.
Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this.
You are not sorry about it, and you would do it again. Continue.
One of the tall buildings overlooking the roundabout, most likely. That would give them a read on the entire quarter.
Yeah, that tracks. Continue.
In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation? I assume you discovered there is an operation.
Well, something to that effect. Continue.
If there is an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to confidentiality. I am sure you understand.
Which is almost a confirmation right there, but do continue.
Of course, detectives. In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. I trust you with the rest. Now it's my turn.
She says, her tone more cautious suddenly. I suppose. We've been generally open with her so far. That's partially my fault. And now we are not, and that is reasonable. You know, we're police. It's how it works. Anyway, continue.
I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands.
Break protocol like what? I have my ID. I showed it to you, and you were like, no, that's not good enough anymore. Anyway, continue.
The words bloodbath sound cold in her mouth. They taste of iron and strawberries.
Thank you for that, Half-Light. What was that about a bloodbath? I think I've already heard about the connection between the lynching and strike, but I need your testimony. That's enough for now. Sure, bloodbath?
Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivershoal West.
Yeah, that would not be ideal. Do continue.
Since you are sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Presumably, yes. Nobody really wants that, at least in our positions. Continue.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be.
Quite a grim page. All right, so I've heard about a connection between the lynching and the strike, but I need your testimony. It's true.
I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say.
All right.
My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me.
Really?
In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail.
Would this be the dead man? A hired military contractor. That absolutely fits what we've observed about his corpse with the armor and whatnot. A momentary lapse of faith. Do you need a security detail? What caused this lapse of faith?
They were dispatched after I relayed the union's initial offer.
Uh-huh. And they blamed you for it being unreasonable? Continue?
Every worker...
A member of the board.
Right.
I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric, or a joke. They did not appreciate the humor.
And so they decided to undercut you, so to speak. Well, I mean, I guess they don't undercut you when they are your bosses. Maybe they're overcutting you? She nods anyway. Do you need a security detail?
Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They're meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
And then your intimidating muscle got murdered. Is that what's going on here?
Who are they, exactly?
Crenell, an Oronese military company.
All right.
As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating.
Okay. Continue?
They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
Right. Wait, is the one guy who down, like, leading the rabble outside of, you know, where the plaza next to where Call Me Mañana, that guy who seems awkward in his clothing, is that another one of them by any chance? I remember his clothes not fitting. I kept commenting on it. Continue.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him.
Subdue him. Right. Continue.
He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night.
Right. What then?
Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenell contractors carry out their orders, for now.
For now, but your relationship is deteriorating, and now one of them is dead. For now.
It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
Okay. So the other person looking into this particular crime, who's getting to all the places I get to before I get there, is probably one of your 2 contractors. A woman, as I recall, right? And I was thinking it was Cindy, but I wonder, I'm probably wrong about that, given that if it was Cindy, Joyce would probably know exactly who she was, and she's standing right over there. I gestured to the right, but you can't see it. Continue.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Continue.
Whether to execute one, Some or all of the Union militants.
Ah, you've made a mess here. I have to say, this is not Disco. Maybe the investigations can team up, share resources and intelligence. Boy, oh boy, that is not good. I do like talking Disco with her, but we've always talked about Disco as being chaos, right? In which case, this is Disco, isn't it? I'm curious what she'd have to say about it, which is why I'm choosing this option. This is not Disco.
It is very far from Disco. My only hope is that you provide a single, concrete suspect before the mercenaries indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put...
She grabs hold of the mainsail. Also, a wave crashes against the side of her boat. Continue.
If you don't pin this on someone good, and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching.
Ah.
This in turn will force the Union to respond.
So the Hardy Boys and the Lady Driver. All of them. And the Lady Driver is a important member in the drug trade around here, which means that would get Madre involved. Yeah, that's going to be a mess if that happens. Continue.
The Debardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
I don't know who the Debardeurs are, but okay. Continue.
Have you ever seen a Hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty.
I guess the Debardeurs are the Unions, then. Got it. Well, I mean, yeah, they're wearing full military armor, and they have automatic weapons. Did she say semi-automatic? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. They're way better than anything we've got around here. It would be a slaughter. Continue. She leans back also. Continue.
The Seraï's giant hornet, the world's second largest insect, can kill 40 honeybees a minute, while a group of 30 can decimate an entire hive of 20,000 bees in less than 4 hours.
Thank you, Encyclopedia. I'm guessing this is in fact a reference to the Japanese giant hornet, because that is a thing that they do. They pinpoint honeybee nests, and then like a scout goes and finds them, and then they call in their hive and they just destroy the entire nest and take the resources. But interesting side note, the Japanese honeybee actually has a defense against it, which is if they find the scout, they will summon basically as much of the hive as they can onto the scout, cover its body in theirs, and then do that thing where they use their wings to raise their body temperatures like they do in the winter to stay warm, and it raises the temperature of the hornet's body to such a level so that it does not survive, because the honeybees can live at a slightly higher temperature than the hornets can, so it dies and they don't lose their hive. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. It's probably irrelevant at the moment, though. Sorry, continue.
These men work in tandem using semi and fully automatic firearms.
Right.
Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours.
Yeah, mine.
Most Union workers don't have guns at all.
True. Continue.
As I said, a bloodbath.
She is silent for a moment, then concludes. Indeed. But the fact that most Union workers don't have guns at all does raise a question about why did the colonel get shot inside the mouth? See, Kim, this is the great bloodletting I've been telling you about. I can't see it happen. Too many things would have to go wrong first. Isn't this a pretty bleak scenario you're describing? I think the confrontation is inevitable. Do we want to go full Apocalypse Cop on this? I mean, we have talked about the great bloodletting before. Otherwise, this option probably wouldn't be here. It's what we're working to prevent, I guess. I guess it's a time to refresh on that particular point. Yeah, great bloodletting.
It appears you found it, yes. And I'm not happy for you.
Neither am I. Isn't this a pretty bleak scenario you're describing?
Many bleak scenarios have already come true. Lieutenant W. Frater Dubois.
She looks at you, eyes damp from the wind. Yes, you're using my full name. Am I in trouble?
All we can do is keep the rest from going the same way. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation.
Right. Okay. What can you tell me about Krenal? You said the deceased assaulted a woman. This colonel, the one who was hanged, did you know him? Where are the remaining 2 mercs now? How much time do we have? That's enough for now. Okay, well, let's start with Krenal. I don't remember about Krenal. Oh, right, that's the agency from which the mercenaries come from, right? Yes. Tell me about them, please.
Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell.
Downwell. That sounds familiar?
They boast a long list of clients. Saint-Baptiste, Welchman Lorenz, Eintracht. A warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in third or fourth world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such.
Is the idea that they only take jobs in places where they won't be kept track of particularly well, so they can pretty much do whatever they want? Good stuff. Continue.
Meaning they're used to operating in war zones.
I suppose that's a better read on the situation. Thank you, Kim. Continue.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors, Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands, countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil.
So I was right the first time. Okay. Anything else you got on them?
Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources.
She thinks. Continue.
If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
She thinks again. I suppose, we better get it started right away, then, and if that's the case. Continue.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP, ma'am?
Fair question. Continue.
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Crenell.
Right. Could you contact the company, tell them to call him off? I'm pretty sure the answer to that is going to be very no, now that one of them is dead, but sure, let's go ahead and ask.
I have. And they will.
Uh-huh.
However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
Right. And is this agency that the company you're contacting, is that on the other side of the pale from here? In which case it's going to take them a while to get here, I'd imagine. Did that seagull just poop into the ocean? I mean, of course that's a thing that seagulls do, but I saw the white streak going straight down over here. Anyway, continue.
She's being truthful. She is pressing them as hard as she can.
Well, I appreciate that anyway. You said the deceased assaulted a woman. Oh, wow, let me try that again. You said the deceased assaulted a woman?
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it.
Uh-huh, she tilts her head. This is also what the Hardy Boys said, but that was their justification for having murdered him, which they, as far as I can tell, didn't do. So that's fun. Who did the passing on, then? What did these teenagers by the canal say? Passed on to me from some teen... Okay, who did the passing on, then?
The remaining contractors. Their tribunal. It's what they believe.
I see. And what did these teenagers by the canal say?
That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
Right. Continue.
The lieutenant consults his notebook, his eyebrows knitted in concentration.
Continue.
Odd. We haven't heard any reports about an assault in connection with the lynching. Where did it take place? And when?
Haven't we, Kim? I swear that the Hardys talked about this, didn't they? They didn't give us much in the way of details, but they don't respect us, so that's not surprising. Continue.
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics, too.
He's probably not the only person who was drunk and maybe on narcotics too at the time. I assume it wasn't... we've already had the discussion with Kim of maybe it was me that did all this, but no, probably not. Continue.
Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him.
Seemingly, yes. And who was this woman?
That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea.
Uh-huh.
As I said, it's a rumor. About a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's remaining colleagues believe.
I guess. Continue.
You'll meet her soon enough, you feel.
That could very well be, Inland Empire. Thank you for being ominous. This colonel, the one who was hanged, did you know him?
If you mean did I see him alive? Yes. But I did not know him.
I'm pretty sure that this next question, his name is something that she already pointed out. She doesn't know his actual name. I'm pretty sure she specifically said that, but go ahead and ask.
Lely.
Oh.
His service name. A nom de guerre, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one.
That certainly is. Only one of the three did give a full name. Can we get that? Can I have that? Tell me about the others first.
One is a man. Corty, they call him.
Uh-huh.
A nickname as well. The other a woman. Phyllis DePaul. Corty is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio operator.
DePaul is the one... I am now fairly confident DePaul is the one who bought my gun. I mean, it's an assumption, but it seems like a pretty reasonable one. Continue.
What would you say was his eye color, the deceased?
The lieutenant cuts in. Sure, Kim, go ahead.
She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face, then shakes her head.
Continue.
I can't remember.
There's a pang of regret to her voice. Continue.
The lieutenant was testing her, asking a small detail first to see if she knew him better than she let on. She passed.
Aha. Okay. Well done, Kim. Continue.
That's all right, man. Anything else? Nationality? What would you say was his age?
Yeah, it was pretty hard to tell much of anything about him by the time we got to him. He was a little bit rotten.
He was 40. Or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age, or gauge his facial expressions.
I feel like that would be useful in his line of work, but what do I know about it? Continue.
Indeed. This matches the dental reconstruction we saw on the body. What else? Nationality? Accent?
He says to you, then turns back to Joyce. Okay, continue.
He was, Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oranese, or Messinian, maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own.
Gotcha, so it actually gave him a speech impediment type of thing? Continue.
In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it. Through the injury.
She nods.
That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once.
That's probably all you're going to be able to absorb in one meeting of a person you didn't know was about to die. Where are the remaining 2 mercs now?
They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth.
She puts her foot on the guard wire for balance. Yes, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth with my gun, among other weapons, I'm sure. Continue.
They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting.
Right. So the reason... Basically, DePaul, I'm assuming, saw me going on my drunken rant with the gun, putting it in people's faces, threatening to kill myself, then saw me come back with the money and was like, okay, I'm going to go get that gun so that that guy can't get it back and be a danger to himself and others. I see. We still need to know where they are. We'll confront them directly. Okay, we'll steer clear for the moment. We do still need to know where they are.
You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
Right. Logic medium 10. Where are these mercenaries? Hey, look at that. It is, in fact, the scab leader back at bad acting. Clothes didn't fit right. Well, what do you know about that? Where are these mercenaries, then? Logic brain?
One is obviously the scab leader.
Right.
At the harbor gates. The one chanting the idiotic slogans. He's barely maintaining his disguise.
Does seem to be the case. Thank you, Logic.
The other has a vantage point in a building south of the roundabout. They were keeping tabs on you while you were canvassing the lorry drivers.
Right. One must be the goon in ill-fitting work clothes by the harbor gates, the scab leader. One is probably in a building overlooking the roundabout. I had another question for you. I don't know what the point is of bringing this up directly in front of Joyce, aside from just being like, see, I'm smart, I figured it out. But sure, let's go ahead and talk through it.
That may be so. I still hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest.
She is poised and unperturbed. Okay, continue.
For all your talk of averting this catastrophe, the situation at the gate is a powder keg. Does this not bother you?
He actually pronounced it catastrophe. I wasn't expecting it for some reason. Continue.
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant. But my hands are tied. How would my employer react if it appeared I were intervening on behalf of the Union?
I suppose that's a fair point.
Your concern may be appearances. Ours is keeping the peace.
And we have the upper hand. Well done, Kim. So one is probably in a building overlooking the roundabout.
That would afford a good vantage point. In any case, it's practically inaccessible.
She says. I suppose. Continue.
Where is your radio for contacting them, if I may ask? Do you have an earpiece?
See if she actually will tell us that. Continue.
Heavens, no. I'm not an undercover agent. There's a short wave at the ship's wheel.
She nods towards the sloop's cabin. I see. I had another question for you, apparently.
I hope I can answer it better.
Well, how much time do we have?
Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob and their impatience.
Right. And she's already been asking around, has DePaul. Continue.
They don't report their progress to you?
Why would they? They don't trust her. Continue.
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative.
There is a brief silence. Seagulls squawk over the bay.
It's a matter of days, not weeks.
I assume that's true. Okay, that's enough for now. Thank you.
I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, please ask.
Ah, now I have an option to bring up the tattoos again. Now can you tell me about these tattoos? Show her the photo. This, that.
Of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
She reaches over the guard wire and takes the photo. Holds it in her hand.
For about half a minute, in silence.
Thank you for that, narrator.
She wears fingerless gloves. Her fingernails are cut short and fractured, like those of a working woman.
Huh. Interesting. Not what I would have expected. Continue.
It was taken with a trigate not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands or legs.
We don't actually know about his legs because we didn't take the armor off of his legs. Apparently he was basically sluiced in there. Stay quiet. Observe the woman's expression. What do you think? I'm going to stay quiet.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo's surface.
The pearls of her eyes is sure a way to describe it. What do you think?
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. The stars.
She breaks her concentration and points to one on the photo paper of the stars, that is. Continue.
I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent.
I see. So this is actually like a code language. Like blooms in a pattern? Say nothing. Like, sure, I'll say like blooms in a pattern.
Close. Port cities.
Oh.
This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. Over 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels.
I see. She nods also. What is the use of this map? What travels did the dead man make? Who could tell me more? That's all for the tattoos. Thank you for your help. What is the use of this map?
The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by. The silver cord, they would call it.
No kidding. All right. What travels did the dead man make?
Quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder.
She points to it on the photo.
He started somewhere near here, I think.
Okay.
What next?
What next?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, through what I think must be the Stutz Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Pretto, he sailed to the Insulindic Ocean, first the Semines Islands, then this.
She points to his heart. What is that?
Revachol.
Ah.
Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after the discovery of Insulinde, at the dawn of the Inter-Easlary Age.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. Continue.
The old world passing by, and the new world already here.
Apparently, yes. Continue.
You said you can't read it.
Apparently, she did say that. Continue.
I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports.
Huh.
I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning.
So you're pointing to where those points would have been on someone else, but they're not on this guy? Or those constants are there, but all the other ones are illegible to you? Maybe it's more like that. Continue.
In Martinez, looking into Krenel, he writes in one. Then the man puts down his pen and rubs his temples with both hands. Outside, there is a siren. Distant gunshots on the streets of the Jamrock Quarter.
Well, that's probably not good. I hope that's not the start of the executions. It probably wouldn't be, right? Continue.
Vredefort? Vredefort has a military academy. The Semines Islands saw a recent conflict. In Revachol, he was executed.
This man is no brother of mine, but this is his service history. Maybe it's a record of his military career? Leave it be. Huh. So are we basically we're suggesting maybe he's a cop, maybe he's military. I mean, of course he's military. This is a more poetic way to put it, I suppose. So I'm going to go with that one.
That makes sense to me. We have no more use for a map of the waterways. Just like we don't need sailors the way we used to. This is what the custom would morph into on the Occident. Mercenary tattoos.
I guess that makes sense. Continue.
For all the boys looking for adventure, a blood spatter on the seas.
Right. Okay, so who could tell me more about this, if you have any idea?
His platoon members?
Ah.
The other contractors. Though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade.
I presume that's true. Continue.
Surely there are other people to ask about the tattoo. This is not necessary to complete the task, officer. It's a dangerous side task. Search elsewhere.
Huh. I need the information. Mark it down. Ask Mercs about the tattoo. You're right. Not a good idea. Leave it off the schedule. Well, the thing about tasks is that even if I do a bad job putting tasks in my ledger, I can just ignore them later on, right? I don't need to finish everything out. I already failed to gather the entire armor set, so it's probably fine? I don't know. There might be consequences for failing side tasks eventually, but I'm not aware of them. I like information.
Do what you have to do, Detective Dubois. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security. But if you should wade into the mob to find out, I couldn't stop you.
Yeah, fair point. I'll try to be careful. Continue.
We will be careful, ma'am.
Yeah, that's all for the tattoos. Thank you for your help.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
She hands you back the photo. That is all. Thank you. Thank you. That is all for now. I got a thing. Oh, I got a thought.
Bringing of the law.
Lawjaw.
Lawjaw.
Yeah. Look at that jaw.
Okay, so we now know why you have Lawjaw. Why you say the law in a weird manner, and why your jaw does that thing. You had polio as a child.
Uh-huh.
You hadn't gotten vaccinated. It must have been right after the revolution. Not a lot of vaccine going around then. So you got infantile paralysis due to polio, and this jaw thing is a complication from that. Admittedly, it's not very funny.
Laughing
but
about that.
you overcame it.
I did.
This little infant survived and became a sharp-shooting super cop. So, fuck you, polio.
Fuck you, polio. Bonuses. Learning cap for hand-eye coordination raised to 6. Succeed all hand-eye coordination passives. All of them. -1 rhetoric. Jaw still weird. Interesting. Hand-eye coordination skills to 6. But all passives succeed. Oh, wait, but it's hand-eye coordination specifically, not, yeah. Wow, I have a lot of skill points. Look at that. 4 skill points, and I had I guess I had 2 going into this. Anyway, that was a productive conversation, I must say. I do want to get another thought started, but I haven't put any thought into what I want to do in order to free up a spot for that, so for the moment, let me get out of here. Wait, did I get a new thought? No, I didn't. I didn't. We just got skill points I can spend, and we got Ask Scab Leader about tattoos. Perhaps another mercenary can tell you more about the Hangman's tattoos, the so-called Scab Leader at the harbor gates. It won't count as one of the people informing you about the tattoos, but could be interesting. That's probably a stupid idea. That's probably just a stupid thing that I could technically do if I felt like it. Alright, well, like I say, I was aiming for a shorter episode today, so I think I'm going to leave off here. Next thing, I'm pretty sure, is going to be, I'm going to try that jump again, and I'm going to go talk to Evrart. Having talked to Wild Pines rep, Joyce. Having talked to Joyce as much as I have, I've gotten pretty much her whole story. I'm also nearly to 50 Riel, what the heck. But now I need to hear from Evrart. I don't understand his aspect of things. I hear he's kind of an unpleasant character, but there's really only one way to find out about that, so that's the plan for next time. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And next time, I guess we're going to be hopping around on the roof, and hopefully it'll work out for me, and I won't get injured more than I already am. Whereas, is Kim just walking into the ocean? Kim? Kim? Look at him go. He's just walking right out onto the surface of the water. Well, that is impressive, Kim. I guess you keep that up. Right. Thank you for watching. And I guess I'll see you next time, provided Kim comes back. It's gonna be hard to do this without him. See you next time.